Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 74th annual episode of Collin and Curtis in the Morning. If you are somebody who watches the video version of this podcast, or perhaps you just head on over to YouTube, you start the video, and then you're playing video games in the background, or you're doing something else, but you just have the video running. If you might be wondering, hey, what happened to episode 73? It's a long story, but the long and short of it is, I don't know, man. That video works fine on my laptop, but somewhere in the uploading process in the internet, things went weird. So I don't know. I might try to just put a version of that with just the thumbnail up as well, maybe over the weekend. So at this point, it might even just be up. It was a weird thing, and it was frustrating, and so that's what happened. But we're in episode 74. It's a whole new day, new future. Here we are. I am joined, as always, by Collin.
It's March Madness time.
The Discman Bossman.
Yeah, the Discman. That's the funny thing. We'll get to it, but I played one match of Disc Jam, and I was like, man, Curtis,
Yeah.
I don't like this game. And then I ended up winning 7 in a row.
Now you love it. Now it's your game of the year.
Game of the year.
Well, I can't wait to hear the story when we get there. But first, we got a list of news. We got a lengthy list of news.
This is the biggest list of news we've ever had, and this is
it's a pretty lengthy one.
Pretty big.
And we had to cut some things because we're
Yeah.
like, man, it's time constraints.
Yep.
And we are held by time constraints. So here we go. We're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible because we do have a good portion of games to talk about that we've been playing. So I hope you're excited for that too, Collin.
Yep.
But with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. It's a crazy week for news, and really this past weekend was PAX. So if any news broke during PAX, we'll talk about it next week, I guess.
Yeah, Cliff Bleszinski working on Shenmue 3. That was a big.
It's really.
That was a big announcement.
Did you watch that trailer though?
Yeah, that was pretty good though.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of his influence in it, and not in a bad way.
Yeah,
not in a bad way.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm very confident about that game, even more so than I have been. So, crazy. So, anyways, let's get started. Steven Universe Save the Light is coming to PlayStation 4 sometime in 2017, and this is being developed by Capybara. Maybe it's not. No. That's the next game.
Yeah, that's the next game. Yes.
So Steven Universe it's a turn-based RPG. You and I we're not familiar with the show, but this is a show on Cartoon Network that I have heard a lot of good things about.
Okay.
There's actually a good portion of people that I follow on Twitter that every so often I'll just see them talking about Steven Universe and how much they like it. So it's something that I know of, but I'm not familiar enough with it. I do like how the game looks. It's it's a cool art style.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, they said it's gonna have real time and turn based combat, so it's kind of cool. There's a character named Rebecca Sugar, so that's a thing.
That's a good name.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, I guess this is a sequel to a mobile game. They're saying. It's called Attack the Light that came out in 2015.
Okay.
So maybe
now we're saving the light.
Yeah, we're saving the light. We're reclaiming the throne. Yeah.
Okay. So next up, here's the Capybara game.
Yes.
Or some sort of association with this game.
Below is finally coming to PlayStation.
I mean, really though.
Critter Crunch 2.
Where are they still just bringing that game to PAX? I want to know what's going on with Below, because that game has always looked really interesting. But we're not here to talk about Below. We're here to talk about OK KO. Let's Be Heroes.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna read a bit of the blog post here, because this is by Chris Waldron. He's a VP at Games and Digital Products at Cartoon Network. So Cartoon Network is launching the brand new animated television series OK KO, Let's Be Heroes, created by Ann Jones Corti, who worked on Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Secret Mountain Fort, Awesome.
I don't
know anything.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
The other two I know of.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about some of the people who work on Adventure Time and Steven Universe, and actually Gravity Falls as well, to throw that in.
Yeah.
It's like they're all, from what I have heard from like different interviews and panels that they've given, they were all just like college buddies. Because they all went to UC Berkeley.
Okay.
And so like them, the guy who did, oh god, I'm gonna blank on his name. There's like another kind of show that kind of fits in with that Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, like Pantheon. It's like Rick and Morty, I think also, like they're all just like buddies and they've known each other for a while, and so like there's a little crossover there too, which I've always found kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this OKKO, it's a bonkers cartoon world with video games at its core that centers on the youngster KO and his adventures around Lakewood Plaza Turbo, including doing battle against the rival robot forces of Boxmore. And then they go on to say, but why announce a TV show on the PlayStation blog? Well, so there's a game that they're making. It almost, there's a screenshot they show. One, it looks really nice. It's a 2D, like a really cool art style.
Yeah.
It looks like maybe a fighting game. Perhaps.
I don't know if I got it. They don't really.
Or maybe a brawler.
Do they even tell like what kind of game it is? Really?
Well, let's keep reading.
Okay.
Because alongside the show, we're creating a console game for OKKO, with PS1 regular Capybara. You probably know them from Super Time Force Ultra, Super Brothers. They did Don't Starve Shipwrecked. Obviously, below Critter Crunch is my personal favorite. Much love to Critter Crunch, of course.
Yes.
Let's see.
I found it in the article what it is.
Okay.
It's an action brawler meets RPG.
Yeah.
One of those.
And then there's a quote from Nathan Villa from Capybara. Goes, if you know Cappy, you can see Cartoon Network's influence all over our games. And to get to be part of building KO's world is one of the coolest things we've done with the show. And is cramming the soul of video games into a cartoon. Cappy is setting out to do the reverse. Mash the language of cartoons into a video game. So interesting. I think it looks cool. Again, you know, these are, I mean, for me, I'm much more of a Gravity Falls fan than any of these other shows, but they're all shows that I know I would probably really like. And so I imagine this show here probably would be something that I would get really into. And Capybara is a great developer.
Yeah.
So, like, I am confident in their ability to make a really cool video game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's exciting. You know what else is exciting?
Outlast 2.
Oh.
Are we going there?
Yes,
yeah, let's go down there.
You are right.
Yeah, let's go down there.
That is extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Outlast 2, coming out April 25th, also known as World Penguin Day. Please be excited.
Are there penguins in Outlast 2, do you think?
That's the great question. That is, I don't want to, you know, we shouldn't spoil anything. But
there are totally penguins in the game.
If I was a betting man, I would bet against that possibility with my fingers crossed that I'd lose.
It doesn't take place in like Antarctica or something?
I mean, honestly, after that demo, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if you played the demo or not.
Did not.
I don't want to speak too specific about things that happen, but that demo goes places.
Okay, so question. If I enjoyed a small video game called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, will I enjoy a game called Outlast?
Possibly.
Okay.
Outlast is going to be less of the shoot and the bang bang.
And I'm kind of more of the shoot bang bang.
But if you like the tension,
okay,
and perhaps we'll say level design,
okay,
maybe Outlast 2 seems to be much more open than the original game, which is exciting to me.
Yeah.
Because
that cornfield at one point.
And the demo actually had a section of that, and it was really, really cool because you could hear the voices of the people chasing you, but you couldn't, and sometimes you would see like flashlights.
Yeah.
But in other cases, you couldn't really. You would just have to use the sound to know where they're coming from. And there'd be so many of them that it's like, I don't know what the right way to go is. You just, that feeling of being lost in like the middle of a cornfield creates this whole new level of tension that the first game had, but it's a different kind of tension in this game, which I'm really excited about. And there's some other things in that demo where like it goes into some weird places that I am super amped up about.
Yeah.
And I love, my love for the original Outlast has been spread far and wide at this point, so I am extremely excited for this game.
Yeah.
Very, very excited.
So the game itself will cost $29.99 on PSN, but then you can buy the bundle, which has Outlast, the Whistleblower DLC, and Outlast 2 for $40.
Yep, which is a
on
good
store
deal.
shelves, which I think is a pretty good deal.
For like $10 more, like if you've not played
yep.
the original game or even the Whistleblower DLC, get on that.
Yep.
That is some high quality video game horror.
Yeah, I still have it
stuff.
from when it was on PlayStation Plus way back in the day. I just have.
And if you remember, that was a Plus title when that came out on PS4.
Oh, is it Day and Date Plus? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was out that February.
Yeah, that's right. It was
after.
one of the first.
Yeah.
Yep.
So very, very cool. But actually, what I was leading to it, you know what's even more exciting than the number 2, Collin?
Interactive crime film Late Shift
No.
coming to PS4 this April.
No. The number 88. That's what's more exciting.
Oh, okay. Well, we get there
88
eventually.
Heroes. 88 Heroes is the game that's coming to PlayStation 4. It's this platforming action game. But the cool kind of the conceit to this game that's really interesting is that it's 88 different playable characters.
Yep.
And they all control or they play differently. So if you see in the trailer, there's like, you can play as a basketball player. You can play as
a hamster rolling around in a ball.
there's a hamster and a ball that's rolling around. And then there's a snake, which
that's really
is
cool.
just like the arcade snake game.
Yeah.
Which looks really, really cool. And so I guess the exciting thing about this is that you have there are so many different ways to play, or like all these different characters and how they'll be combined and like how they'll work together. It's really interesting because the trailer alone probably shows about like 9 or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really count, but somewhere in the ballpark of that, right? And like even just seeing that, it's like wow, all of these actually look pretty different. The snake one in particular, obviously, is very, very different.
Yeah.
But the hope is that like there legitimately be 88 very different ways to play through a level with a specific character, which is pretty cool. It looks very goofy. It reminds me of Super Time Force in the kind of just in some ways the way it looks, not necessarily the way it plays. Obviously, it's not. I don't know that there's time control stuff here. But there's just something about the way you move through a level that kind of reminded me of that game, or even a Broforce in some ways.
Yeah, they mentioned that. They mentioned Broforce in I think their blog post. What if I told you, Curtis?
Hi.
So what if I told you that in the boxed PS4 version of the game, you can get 2 more heroes and 8 new levels?
So you can get 90 heroes.
And a new special hate mode. H8.
Oh.
H8 mode.
Oh, that explains the Hate Incorporated tower.
Oh yes.
I'm on board.
I think this looks
Get
pretty
hyped.
cool. Yeah.
This is so March 24th.
Yeah, I think so.
That shows it in the blog.
I don't
link.
believe you.
Okay.
Okay, then yeah, I think
Cool.
I'll agree with you.
Anyways, other things are happening in March, like the Gran Turismo Sport closed beta, which begins March 17th.
Yep.
Apparently, the original link, or if you look at like the URL or something, or maybe it was just in the blog post itself, there was somewhere where it said February something. So maybe it was originally planned to be a month earlier.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's coming.
It
is about a week away.
So we can talk about this. This is really weird, and I might be just completely So on the blog post, it says hi blog post. It says, and for anyone who doesn't get a chance to participate in the closed beta, and then in link, like hyperlink, it says you can sign up for updates here. So you click on the thing that says you can sign up for updates here, and then you click on it, and then it says Gran Turismo Sport beta sign up. But I thought it sounds like I'm supposed to be signing up for a newsletter, but here's the sign up for it. I'm really confused.
Updates on the beta.
But it just says sign up.
This whole game is weird to me because, let's not forget this was supposed to be out last year.
Yeah.
So clearly something was going on.
Yeah.
But it's not a Gran Turismo game if it's not being delayed.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot. So, I'm not really a GT guy. I don't know that you're a GT guy.
Played Gran Turismo 5 a good amount.
I did too, but I never really was into the big sim racing.
I had Gran Turismo PSP when I bought a PSP.
Okay.
That was alright.
Alright. Well, anyways, that's cool. That's cool for people who are into Gran Turismo, of course.
Yep.
Hopefully that game's come along just fine. I'm sure it's going to look good.
Oh, you know it.
Let's talk about Ancient Emulator. Emulator?
See, it's like
Amulet.
It's like amulet and then OR. Like
or.
Amuletor.
Amulet or?
Amulet or.
Amulet.org. Coming to PlayStation VR this summer. This is a MOBA VR game.
Ace Banana meets Dungeon Defenders meets... I don't know. The thing that happened that we talked about off air that happens 13 seconds.
I mean, really they took time to ensure that they looked down in VR so that you could see the chest of the woman character that you were playing.
Yeah,
as,
that really kind of turned me off.
Which is
about this game.
About the time when I went, yeah, okay,
yeah.
I'll probably won't be playing this.
Yeah, probably.
But honestly, the thing that also kind of turned me off was the part in the blog post where it was like, it sounds like a MOBA, right? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of the last thing I want in a VR game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if it was like a League of Legends style thing where like, you know what I mean by like top down? Like if it's more like top down, I could look around kind of stuff, like manage, like an RTS kind of style. Like I'd be kind of into that if it was in VR. But like, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of what I mean, Tethered was sort of like that,
okay.
you know, being like a god game, but you can kind of look around and.
But like, he isn't like
that was.
Don't they call Smite? Don't they call that a MMO? Or not MMO, a MOBA, but it's like third person.
Sure.
But it's like third person. I don't like that kind of.
Yeah, this one's first person. Obviously, being in VR, I guess they went with that route. But I don't want to. I also don't want to trash on the game too much because you and I probably have no interest in MOBAs.
Yeah, there's 4 different heroes. More in DLC.
But like a VR MOBA game, like I don't know that this is gonna be the one. But that's an interest. Like, you know, it's cool that we're seeing certain genres get kind of played around with in VR, and we'll see what works and what doesn't. But that could potentially be something that's interesting.
Reading the comments, apparently there will be a free demo that will be released soon. So there's that.
Maybe we'll be able to give it a shot.
Yeah.
For ourselves. Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. This is coming out March 16th. Momodora.
Oh, okay.
Not to be confused with Mobadora. Very different game. So Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. Collin, right around this time last year, I played through this game on the PC.
Heard of those.
And it's freaking awesome. I love this game.
Cool.
People should check this out. It's a stop me if you've heard this one before, Collin.
Okay.
It is a 2D, 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania
roguelike
Dark Souls inspired design.
That's a brand new genre, I think.
So obviously very unique. No, this game is just super polished. It plays really well. Level design's great. You know, boss encounters are really cool. Enemy design, like even just like artistically, like, you know, this game looks really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a great style to it. I love this game. I am very excited to play through it again. It's not super long. You can probably finish it like even just to 100% completion in like 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
This is the game, if you remember last Summer Games Done Quick, the guy played one-handed. And did the speed run of it, like, because he's got like, I don't remember what it is, but he's got a condition like in one of his hands.
Yeah.
So he can only play one-handed.
Wow.
And so he like he speedrunned the game on like the hardest difficulty in like an hour, and it was like this super impressive, like really great moment. He got like real emotional because like his dad like donated a ton of money for him.
Cool.
It was a really cool moment last summer. It was like SGDQ last year, I think. But anyways, I know that, you know, the Metroidvania name or the Dark Souls inspiration, like that is, it gets kind of tired after a while, but this game like earns those credits, I think. It is really, really well made.
Okay.
We'll probably have some coverage of it sometime this week.
Yeah. Looks cool.
So look for that. But I wholeheartedly recommend it. Without reservation.
Cool.
Hey, Collin, you want to talk about some old video games?
You know, I'd love to talk about No Man's Sky.
Oh, Okay. I didn't know if you were gonna guess that or not. I guess it's kind of old. So No Man's Sky got an update this week.
Yes.
This past week.
The Pathfinder
added some stuff.
Update.
The Pathfinder update. Here's just a list. Here's just a summary of the things that it added. So it's PlayStation 4 Pro support. I don't know that they didn't really go in depth with what this means. So maybe Digital Foundry or somebody will talk about that.
You get 50%. You get 50% more music on the
50% more original music from 65 Days of Static. Improved visuals. You can own multiple ships. Base sharing online. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
New vehicles. There's Exocraft,
mm-hmm.
which I think is a land vehicle.
Yeah.
Permadeath mode. Build vehicle racetracks.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
To race against yourself.
It would be great, yeah.
Because there's no multiplayer.
Yes. Yes. But maybe that's a sign of things to come. Maybe that's your first clue.
Yeah.
Ship specializations and classes. Shops and traders. Double the base building variety. Multi-tool specialization and classes. New weapon modes. Photo mode. Discovery menu. Quality of life improvements. So that they're still trucking away in that game. Oh, there's a screenshot of the vehicle. It actually looks.
Yeah.
What are those insects, like the water gliders, or what are they? You know the insects I'm talking about. That kind of like looks like that, and they glide across the water.
You mean those like ones that were in like Ocarina of Time?
I guess.
Or
you know what I'm talking about, though, right? I can't remember what they're called for some reason. I'm blanking on it.
I don't know.
That's kind of what this thing looks like, because it's like on the water, and it's just like.
Yeah. Did you watch
gliding along there.
Did you watch the video for it?
I did not.
I watched it. It was alright. It's just this. I think it's a gal just talking about what's kind of new, and they're driving around that dune buggy kind of thing. And I don't know if that's the exact Exocraft, but like
maybe it shifts or transforms.
Yeah,
or something.
They're driving around. They're like it's. I mean, it looks like you can get from place to place a lot better rather than tracking around on the ground.
Yeah.
And calling your ship in and stuff.
I don't know if there's so much other stuff right now that I need to play through, so I probably won't be able to get back to No Man's Sky. But I do really legitimately want to go back to it at some point this year.
I agree, and I'm kind of, for me personally, I'm almost kind of waiting till like they get all of the updates out of the way, so.
Or maybe like the next really big substantial update or something.
Yeah, and I think this.
It's just.
Is this?
Go ahead.
I think this is gonna have. Did I see something that this was gonna have extra trophies? I mean, like nothing huge, but I thought I saw something.
Oh yeah, are you interested in that?
Maybe I thought I saw on like PSN or PS4 trophies or whatever that Twitter account that we follow.
Right.
I thought I saw that there was maybe some trophies along with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there was so much. I mean, there's so much out right now. There's so much coming out in the next month or so. So much coming out this year that it's almost hard to kind of find that slot to fill it in. It's such a crazy thing, and especially because this year in particular, like everything's just reviewing really well.
Yeah.
And games are not disappointing, so it's tough to find a slot. But you want to add another game to that list of games to play in the next couple months?
Let me guess. You're probably talking about Rime?
Hey, Rime got a release date.
Yeah, it did.
Boy, this happened quick. This is coming out May 26th on PlayStation 4 and other platforms. It is going to be $30. Please be excited. Are you excited? Are you still excited about Rime?
I don't know. Maybe. I feel like it's like the time is just kind of like not done favors to Rime. I still like the trailer they put out, whatever it was, a couple months ago, a month ago.
When they kind of re-revealed
it. Yeah, when they like re-revealed it. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I don't know if I'm gonna spend $30 on it though. So
okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
It was always the thing that fascinated. So I'm back to being like interested in Rime. You know, I want to believe, like I have with other games that's taken forever.
Yeah.
But another game like it that's been a long time coming that it's been fascinating to see. Maybe a small group, but certainly a certain group of people kind of being vocally like, I'm still going to play it, but I just don't know if I'm excited as I was before.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Persona 5.
Yeah, true.
I feel like, now that we're, when we're in the lead up to launch now, it's like, I've only seen like a handful of people on GAF, for instance, where it's like, you see some sentiment of like, it's just been so long. And I think you got that with The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 and other games where it's like, it's been so many years that eventually at some point it's just like, come on, I just want to play the game now.
Yeah.
And Persona 5 is, it's been such a crazy thing because it's like, it's coming out this year, we promise, and then it doesn't, and then the next year comes, and it's like, it was definitely going to be this year, and then it's delayed again, and then it gets a release date in the US, and then it gets pushed back again. We're almost there. We are almost there. Anyways, so Inner Space, this is a game coming to PlayStation 4. Oh yeah, this is the one, so Collin, you and I kind of read through this blog post, and we wanted to mention it because it was like, okay, new game announcement coming to PS4 in the summer. Like, there's some screenshots there. It looks pretty interesting. You're like flying a plane, talking about like flying in the air and underwater. Yeah. I think they're talking about like a lot of like having like discovery and secrets to find. But like, I feel like I don't know what this game is.
Yeah, I'm like just reading over it again. I'm just not.
Even reading through like the post they put up on the blog, I'm still like kind of in the dark about what this game is.
Like they say it's inspired by the likes of Proteus and Shadow of the Colossus, but I'm like,
okay,
I don't
which
know.
maybe that can give you hints of what you might expect. It is an interesting looking. Like if you just look at the screenshots, it does look interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how it turns out.
There's some sample tracks. Yeah, I was just gonna say there's some sample tracks you can listen to.
Neuro Voider. This is coming out March 14th tomorrow on PlayStation 4. This is a RPG twin stick shooter kind of thing.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. Just it's 4-player co-op.
Okay.
Just gives me the Nuclear Throne / Enter the Gungeon vibes.
Oh yeah, I certainly did.
Yeah.
I also got similar vibes from that.
So,
which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, feel like, and it has 4-player instead of like, I think Enter the Gungeon only had 2-player, and this has 4. So
Enter the Gungeon, the game that escaped me.
I
want it so badly
every once
to
in a while, I want to go back and play that game, but I'm like,
I want it so badly to spend more time in that game, and it just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I agree.
Interactive crime film Late Shift. This is coming to PlayStation 4 in April. This is, if you remember The Bunker.
Yes.
So another FMV game came out a few months back from Wales Interactive. This is another FMV game, crime film, interactive crime film coming from them. I never played The Bunker.
Me neither.
I remember watching videos on it and thinking it looked interesting. This also looks pretty interesting. Maybe I'll check this one out. But are you hyped to get in on some interactive crime films?
Not too much. I mean, from what I had seen of The Bunker, this looks like it will play pretty much exactly like that kind of thing. I don't notice anything that's going to be. It looks like, I don't know. It's like you play a Telltale game and you're like, yeah, I know what probably Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna play like, and you're like, well, I've I played The Bunker. I probably know what Late Shift is gonna be like. So,
yeah. Well, it's like we got those Guardians of the Galaxy screenshots, and it's like, yep,
yeah,
all right,
pretty much.
Yeah, so, that's okay. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I might maybe look at it at some point, but it's one of those games I'll probably like watch maybe somebody else do like some footage of or something like that. I don't know if we'll get anything on it, but.
All right, Collin, I have some news to report that might be of your interest.
Is this breaking news?
There is an invasion in progress. There's an invasion of the PlayStation Now variety.
Oh, baby. Oh.
So a bunch of Sega games got added to PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
Have been added.
Yeah.
Here's the list. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to read a name. I want you to say yay or nay.
That's what I was going to do.
Alex Kidd in the Miracle World.
I didn't really care for that. No, nay.
Altered Beast.
That game sucks. Sorry.
I need a yay or nay, Collin.
Nay. Way nay.
Okay. Comics Zone.
Yay.
Fighting Vipers.
I don't know what that is. Yay.
Golden Axe.
Yay.
Revenge of Shinobi.
Yay.
Sega Bass Fishing.
Never played it. Nay.
Sonic Adventure.
5 times yay.
Sonic Adventure 2.
10 times yay.
Sonic the Fighters.
I give that like a 0.5 yay.
Sonic Unleashed.
I give that like a 3 times yay.
Super Hang-On.
I don't even know what that is. Nay.
Virtua Fighter 2.
Tekken's better. Nay.
So that's your annual update on PlayStation Now things. Blackwood Crossing is coming to PlayStation 4 on April 4th. This is a interactive. It's a story-driven adventure game. Here's a brief synopsis. Blackwood Crossing is a single-player, story-driven adventure game, an intriguing tale exploring the relationship of Scarlet and Finn, two siblings who are growing apart. When their paths cross with a ghostly figure, an ordinary train ride evolves into a haunting adventure of love, death, and magic. So, this is a game we've been like kind of getting emails about for some time, and I've always look forward to them because it just is an interesting looking game. Like art style wise, I really like how it looks. But yeah, old school adventure game, essentially is what we're looking at here. Pretty interesting. I'm curious to see how that one turns out. We then have, we have Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. This is coming July 18th to PlayStation 4. There's a trailer. It's like a open world looking kind of cartoony exploration game. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily look like it's super heavy in combat. It looks more about just exploring this huge world. Got an interesting look to it. Skykeepers is coming to PlayStation 4 on March 28th. It's going to be $15. And Skykeepers is
it's a 2D action platformer featuring a vibrant art style.
Yeah, vibrant. It's interesting. Like just watching the trailer, you get some hints of like what the combat might be like. It looks like it maybe is combo focused. There's some like interesting moves you can do where like, you're hitting people up into the air and then you're like pulling yourself toward them and like continuing a combo change. So like a chain that looks kind of interesting. Like it'll be interesting to see like how that plays out. If that stuff like feels good to actually do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you don't see a lot of 2D fighters like in that vein where they're like very combo centric. So that looks interesting in that respect. Away Journey to the Unexpected got announced for PS4. This game is just like art style wise looks super interesting. It's a first person action game, but there's something that's very cartoony. I'd say it's anime inspired, I guess.
Yeah, it looks very anime inspired. Yeah.
It's so it's actually got level designer from Rayman, Jim Ginnison, which is interesting. And then there's like, I guess there's a new game by the next Penelope creator, which I've never heard of that game. I don't know if that's something that rings a bell for you. But they describe it as a first-person anime-inspired roguelike that features 2D characters residing in a fully 3D world. And that I think it's that last part. It is a 3D world, it's, first-person 3D and everything, but it's the characters themselves are like 2D. And so I think that's another thing that kind of really adds to just the look of the game overall.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's
very unique.
Yeah. It sounds like it'll at least be there or maybe even playable at PAX, or was at PAX this past weekend. So
yeah.
Perhaps we'll see some more coverage of that game soon,
cool.
if not already.
Yeah.
And in that respect, there's just one other thing. Get on board the hype train, Collin.
Well, now hold on. You don't want to talk about I gotta go look back at our list.
I think we got everything.
We took it off.
What did we take off?
We took off, or maybe I didn't put it on there. We missed excuse me, Yuta Waramunano.
Yes.
The Mask of Deception.
Right.
Launching on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, May 23rd. It's an Atlas game. I just wanted to say that.
You just wanted to say the name.
Say that.
I'm pretty sure we've already... I thought we already covered that in a past episode.
We did?
I thought so.
I don't remember. I don't recall ever talking about this
I remember talking about it because I remember having to pronounce it.
Oh. I thought we talked about... No. Maybe... Was that with that blog post that had like 5 games that showed up?
I don't
know.
I'm losing track of everything.
We're going off the rails.
Well, let's get back on the rails. And let's hop on the hype train. We got some new Sonic Mania gameplay.
Oh, baby.
Collin, tell me about this.
Okay, so Sonic Hedgehog, it's saying it's playable at PAX. The YouTube account put out 2 little gameplay things. A Green Hill Zone Act 2 And one is just like raw gameplay, and then the other one is commentary from Aaron Weber, as you may know him from the Twitter guy for Sonic
No
the
way.
Hedgehog. Yeah. You've never heard of him before?
I'm familiar. I am familiar with.
Never heard him troll some people?
I'm very familiar with. But I thought we were supposed to keep it a secret. No one knows who runs that Twitter account.
Oh, not at all.
You know what I really want to know? I want to meet the man or woman or animal, whoever it is that is behind, or God for that case. I know where you're going with this. The Arby's Twitter account.
Yes, I know you're going with that.
Because, man, have they been delivering.
Did you see that Zelda one too?
I've seen them all.
Okay,
I love them.
Yeah, they've been doing like Pizza Rolls. You've been doing pretty good too. The Totino's I do like the pizza roll. Yeah, that's pretty good. But with Sonic Mania, they're showing one of these. So like, you kind of had like the blue greenish orbs that you'd get when you play like original 2D Sonic. That would like give you like a hit or something like that. Like if you got hit, you wouldn't lose all your rings. So here's this new one. It's like a fire shield, and I'm pretty sure this is brand new. Not 100% sure, but you can kind of do like a little dash with it. So in, I believe it's the second act or maybe the first act of Green Hill Zone on the original Sega Genesis game, like there's this part where it's like these logs, and you have to run across them like in a specific way because there's spikes that spit out the end. So if you actually have that flame shield and you run across those logs of like with the spikes, it'll just like burn away and you'll like fall into a secret area with like a bunch of coins. And it's just stuff like that. And then like all this like, it's almost like the hidden Zelda music that like starts playing. Like, oh, like it's almost like, hey, you found a secret kind of thing. I really like this. I was having a lot of fun with it. The soundtrack's great.
Do we know when exactly that's coming out yet, or
they said later this year, but before they used to always say like spring or Q2, I believe. But in the video they say later this year, so I don't know if that means like they're gonna push it back or something. Okay. But I'm very excited for this. I have the collector's edition pre-ordered. I'm all aboard the Sonic Mania hype train. I'm all aboard the Sonic 2017 hype train.
I mean, 2017 is all about Sonic Mania, not even just the game.
And also Project 2017.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Beyond just Sonic Mania the game, it is Sonic Mania the year.
I see what you're saying.
Forget Luigi.
So like if this was just like a regular 3D platformer, like 2017, like I don't know if I'd like really care that much, but man, they get that classic Sonic, you got modern Sonic back. Yeah. Basically be like Generations 2, and it hopefully won't play like Lost World or something. You get that great music going.
Get hyped.
Oh, Curtis. Oh, I'm so hyped.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for talking about games that are not out yet. Let's talk about some games that we've been playing. Do. Boop. All right, we got it. We're working on it.
Was that like a transition?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Sure, I like it. I'll allow it.
Hey, Collin, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to talk about your 30 seconds of Clicker Heroes.
So I started. Well, when's my 10 seconds?
It's already started.
Okay. Well, I started the game and I hit square and I hit square like 30 more times and then I killed some enemies and I bought something.
So that was Clicker Heroes.
That's about all I need to say.
That's pretty much everything you need to know about Clicker Heroes. Let's actually talk about a real video game. So you and I both played Disc Jam. Sounds like your experience with the final version of Disc Jam was maybe a bit better than mine. I was partnered against somebody who was just destroying me consistently.
Yeah.
But how about you?
So I think it was because there's like 4 playable characters. I honestly think it's like more of the character that I chose. More
what do you think of the
than,
character
like,
design in this game?
It's okay.
I hate it.
I don't know. So like pretty much there's 4 characters and at least 3 of them have like a slide. But like the character I had has this like it's kind of like a slide, but it's like this. She's like a ninja.
That's
girl,
the one I use. She's like the only one. Okay, I kind of like.
Oh, I cannot stand her. Like I'm so terrible with her.
Oh,
like that's when I had the most frustrations playing as her.
Really? So maybe that was my issue. Was I only played as her and I kept losing. Do you think they control that differently? Because I felt like they
I don't know. I felt like they did. because I changed. I mean, well, this kind of shows who I am. There's trophies for winning a match for each of the characters.
Sure.
And I changed some characters so I could like win a match each. And I felt like there was a difference.
Okay.
Maybe on like how fast they moved or like how quickly they made contact with the disc or something. I don't know, because there was a couple times like I would run left and I thought I would pick up the disc and I would like start running to the right to like maybe throw it somewhere, and then like I wouldn't even have grabbed the disc.
Well, we should say like, so the ninja girl, she does like a cartwheel. Like they all have like we'll call it like a dash ability or something, where you can kind of like dash across the court, you know, to close your range between you and the disc to catch it in time. So hers is a cartwheel, and then the character is just like a dash or something like that. So I just kind of assumed that they just controlled the same, it just animated differently, but maybe there is something to it. Maybe there is, between those 4 characters, like just a slight difference. It doesn't really make it prevalent. I mean, it doesn't necessarily show that there is a difference, but perhaps that's the case.
Yeah, I liked it. So I kind of had this thing with you. I was talking to you on just text Skype. I thought I had played like 3 matches. And, like, I thought I had, like, unlocked, like, everything the game had. And I was like, I'm so confused right now. Apparently, the game just logged me out. Like, I was still connected to PSN.
Okay.
And this happened twice. I'd play, like, 4 matches in a row. And then, like, I'd just be logged out. And, like, I would just try to reconnect in the game. And it just wouldn't let me join online anymore. And I had to back out of the game completely and join back in. And then it would log me back in.
Weird.
So I did see, like, when I turned my PS4 on, I did see there was a new update, so maybe that.
Yeah, I got like a couple updates over the past couple days.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, people are gonna call it Rocket League compared to Rocket League, stuff like that. I feel like Rocket League had more depth and like maybe more strategy to it.
Well, yeah.
I almost feel like Disc Jam is like, it's almost too complex for its own good. Like, so I went through the basic and the advanced tutorial. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like there was way too much stuff. Like, I guess I feel like it's like Rocket League's that kind of game that's like easy to pick up, hard to master kind of thing. But I feel like Disc Jam is almost like hard to pick up, hard to master.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
I wonder how much of it might go along with also just there's only multiplayer right now, so you could just be being matched up against someone who's very good at it. Because I felt like in the beta, just going through those tutorials, I felt like it hit that same itch of like, it's a very simple concept. It's very easy to understand. But there is layers of depth there. There is like the way the spin that you put on the disc, like that special wall throw that kind of like skips along the wall. There and then like you can kind of like lob it
I found
up.
that so hard.
I
found that so hard to pull off.
Though, I'm able to.
That wall skip thing,
somewhat consistently pull that off.
I'll let you continue, but like, I just feel like every time I throw the disc is like I don't know where it's going.
I feel like I think it's taking time, but I feel like I have a decent control over it. But the other issue, you've also got, you can like, there's almost a shield like thing that you can charge up, and if you charge it up enough, like when the disc hits it, it will fly up into the air, and you can do like a special power move. So I think it's got the depth there. There obviously Rocket League just has a lot more to it because of the nature of what that thing is. But I do think they still fall into those similar categories where there is a high skill ceiling. For me, I'm just a little bummed out because I was hoping there would be maybe more modes at launch. Like I was one thing I love about Rocket League is as multiplayer centric as that game is, it's got a season mode. Like it's got a season mode that you have a decent amount of customization over. It's got other things to it as well as like that. I felt like, fleshed everything out at launch. And, of course, since then, there's been a lot of stuff added, which is really cool. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the DLC for this game. In particular, and this is also a much smaller team. Apparently, it's like 2 people. Oh, so there's that as well. But I still think the game itself is solid. I had I got matched against a guy. I played him like 3 or 4 times. He just destroyed me every time. And it was like, okay, I'm going to back out and then matchmake again, see if I can find somebody maybe more of my level. Immediately got matched against that same guy. and proceeded to play another like 6 or 7 matches, and I won like a set or two. That was how lopsided it was. So I don't know, like maybe if that stuff will even out as more people play it, or maybe I was just that bad with that character. I don't really know. Have you had like lag issues in game?
Yeah, so like,
because I've had some severe, like in the beta it wasn't too bad. It would pop over every once in a while, but I didn't think that it necessarily ever caused me to lose points or something. When I played it a few nights ago, I felt like there was a number of times where I gave up scores because of the lag.
Yeah, and the one kind of bit me. I was playing doubles, so like with another, it was like 2v2, and there's speaking of trophies, there's a trophy for completing a game and not giving up like a single point or something like that. And so I was playing with this guy, and like we completely aced the whole first set. Like we were just killing him. And we get up to about 30 points, 30-0 in the second, and like the guy throws it back, and I like catch it, and then the game just stutters, and then the disc just like flies right past me, and it scores for them. And I was like, and then it comes up with connection interruption and stuff like that. I had that happen multiple times. I never had anything like, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but like I never had anything that like kicked me out of the game. No. But it did like halter what was actually
I've had
happening.
A lot of like, it looks like the disc is about, like it looks like I'm about to score. It'll stutter a bit, and then their character will just kind of teleport over and have caught it and then have already thrown it back. And so, most of the time when that happens, like it sucks, but it's also like, okay, I still at least have a couple of seconds to respond, and I'm able to. But there's been a few times where it's like it stuttered, and by the time it's kind of caught up, that disc is already flying by me, and it's a bummer because it's like, man, like I can't do anything about that. I can't, like there's nothing I can really do to combat that, and anyway, it's so again, hopefully of course that stuff gets ironed out pretty quick, but the game itself, when it's working fine, I like it. I'll be very curious, a year from now I'll be curious to look back and see what Disc Jam is like, in 2018.
I hopefully like the community will stay there. I hope it's not one of those like, I don't think this is gonna be those like one of those one-off. I'm gonna throw the like names like Hardware Rivals and Tabletop Racing World Tour in there. Like, hey, it's out, it's on Plus, and it's like
I think this already has a much better shot. I feel like there are already a lot more people being excited about Disc Jam due to its simplicity and just like being able to pick up and know exactly what it is. I'm actually gonna be really interested to see how it compared, or not necessarily how it compares, but what it's like when Windjammers comes out.
True.
Because they are so very similar. And Windjammers, like, they've got like Iron Galaxy behind it, who have, they did like Dive Kick, right? They've done other games like it. And so they actually have maybe a bit more experience and a bigger team. And let's say like if Disc Jam is still having, we'll say like netcode errors or like just issues with lag, like you could see a world where Windjammers comes out, is perfectly fine, and maybe takes over a bit more. So that'll be interesting, because I'll tell you right now, like I'm much more excited about Windjammers.
Oh, me too.
Even though I do like Disc Jam, so that'll be interesting. So with that, I played the Danganronpa VR demo that came out. So this is about 10 minutes long, if that. It is, the thing that's confusing to me is for some reason I knew it was really short, but and I guess I had seen it written as a demo a few times, but actually playing it, like Monokuma says some things that seem to hint like there maybe is more VR stuff coming for Danganronpa. So I'm not really sure what the plan is there, but essentially what it is they throw you into a class trial. And they kind of like give you a quick overview. It's like, oh yeah, characters are going to be saying things. You need to shoot bullets at the words that are wrong, or like you need to look for the phrase. Like as people are talking, you need to listen intently. And when you hear somebody say something that is wrong, or that you know goes against maybe evidence you've seen, you need to know that and then be able to point it out and say, wait, no, I object to that. That is not true. That's not the case at all, and here's why. So you do that like once or twice, and then there's, as like the trial is going on, Monokuma kind of interferes and it's like, oh wait, we got to end it now because it's just a demo. So it's really short. I was telling you before we recorded. I think like if you have like, because you downloaded it but you've never played Danganronpa, so like I feel like if you have no connection to this franchise, you might still like get some sort of enjoyment out of it and just enjoy like the weirdness of it all. But I think more like it throws you in so quick and then pulls you out just as quick that you might just be left confused and unsure of what the heck even just happened. Whereas I think if you at least have played these games, like I got a kick out of it. I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's a cool little like tech demo-y type of thing, which is about what I expected from it. But they do like have a thing at the end where Monokuma's like, oh, see ya later, and then like it has a splash screen of like Danganronpa V3, and it's just see you in 3, and it's like, well, wait, is that just, them being like, hey, get excited for V3, or is there like a VR connection there? I'm not entirely sure, because I don't feel like they've announced anything other than just, hey, here's this weird tech demo thing we made. But regardless, let me talk to you about a video game called Loot Rascals.
Root Rascals.
Yeah, Loot Rascals.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So this is a I don't remember the.
It's a Hohokum.
Yeah, I don't remember the like. They have a. Is it Hollow Ponds? I think might be the developer. It's a.
Wasn't there like not honey?
There's Honey Slug.
Not that.
I'm trying to remember the other. Anyways, it's a lot of people who worked on like Hohokum and Super Exploding Zoo, and there's a third game, but I cannot think of it right now. Anyways, this is a roguelike with
loot.
Where the loot is cards, and so it's got a deck builder aspect to it.
So I saw the like hex thing.
Yeah, it's on like a hexagonal
and then I
grid.
saw the cards, and I was like, man, this sure looks a lot like Armello.
No. It is it's a roguelike in that it's turn based, and as you move a tile, enemies move a tile, things like that. And when you share tiles with an enemy, you enter an automated combat.
You're right. Eric would like this game. It sounds like Nova 111.
Yeah, I was thinking about that in some respects as well. But also there's this card game, this deck building element that I think is like, it is one. So before, I like the way, I think the art style in this game is fantastic. I love the way it looks. There's some cutscenes and voice acting in there. There's just a 3 or 4 like scenes with some voice acting thrown in that's like really well done and super interesting and funny and weird. So I love all that. I'm not a huge roguelike person, although, which is weird to say because I've spent almost the entirety of this week playing nothing but roguelike games.
We don't like roguelikes, and then we talk about how good Enter the Gungeon is.
Enjoying them, which is like weird for me to say. But anyways, what's the thing that I think has really made this game for me, and it's the thing that is the reason why I keep thinking about Loot Rascals and wanting to play more, is this deck building element. So as you kill an enemy, sometimes they might drop a card, and these cards are used. You have 10 slots, 5 on top, 5 on bottom. Each row is numbered 1 through 5. Okay. So you use the cards that you find to insert them into each slot, and that builds up your attack and it builds up your defense. So you start each game with 5 HP, 3 attack, and 3 defense. And there's some math to it, so it's like, obviously, like if you attack first, because there's like a day-night cycle too. So some enemies attack first during the day, some attack first during night. So like if you attack first, you can do damage off them, and like when you factor in like how much attack they have versus your defense, there's like math going on that they explain to you. I won't get into it too much here, but it's a relatively simple concept once you see it in game. But what's really fascinating is as you're defeating enemies, they don't always drop cards, but sometimes they will. And sometimes it's a really simple just, okay, this card has 2 attack, so it's going to add 2 to your overall attack. Sometimes you'll find a card that's like, okay, this card's 3 defense, but if it's placed on the bottom row, it's going to get +1. Or there are other like parameters that cards might have. So sometimes it might be, hey, the card to the left and right of wherever you place this gets a +1. Or all cards to the left get +3. Or if this is placed on the top row and it's the only card in your hand that is of this specific type, because each card has like an image on it, and the images are called certain things. So if it's the only boot card that you have equipped, then it's going to get +4. And so much of it is finding these cards and coming up with a way to place them in the best possible placement to get the most out of these cards. Because most of them have these kind of parameters where it's like, okay, obviously this is a really good card, but I'm going to want to place it in like slot 5 of the bottom row so I can get the most advantage out of what this card is offering. And then there are special cards that's like, okay, this card, when you activate it, it's going to take every single attack card in your hand and combine them all into one. Which as you could imagine, is super useful, because then instead of having like 8 slots of attack cards, you just have 1. That was all of them combined, and so you have more room. So it's this really, really interesting mechanic that, because there are so many cards, I don't even know the full amount, but there's a lot of different cards. There might even be some randomness to them. It might even be a case of like the actual parameters might be randomly placed. So there could be like a very large number of possible combinations in place. But because of how it all works, like, it's a really interesting mechanic of like going into your inventory and messing around with, your deck placement, and just trying to make trying to make sure that your attack and your defense is as high as possible. And so basically, as you'd expect in a roguelike, right? You go from level 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to level 5. 5th stage is the final boss fight. If you die at any point, you go back to stage 1, you restart. An actual like playthrough of like getting to the end, probably about 40 minutes or so. But again, it's very hard. It's a very difficult game, especially when you start getting to like stage 3 and stage 4. There are some very strong enemies. There's other like hazards on the stage itself that you need to avoid. There's a lot of different mechanics going on, and a lot of which like you can potentially change depending on what cards you have. And much like any other roguelike, how well you do in any given run could very much depend on a lot of luck. So basically what happened to me, Collin, a couple nights ago, is I was doing pretty well. I was, usually getting to stage 3 almost every single run. I felt like I was getting good enough at the game where I could consistently get to stage 3. There was a couple times I got to stage 4. So I was feeling pretty good. And in I did a run in my very first stage. I got the card that basically combined all of my attack cards into one, and then I also got a card that combined all of my defensive cards into one. And so going into stage 4, for instance, like my attack and defense were right around 30 each, which is really, really high. From what I've seen so far, it's the highest I'd had both of them ever. And on top of that, I had gotten through all 4 stages leading into the final boss fight, having only taken 1 hit. So I was down to 4 HP going to the final stage. I had an ability that I'm able to like put on top of my card that would let me heal myself. So I was able to fully heal up, go into the final boss. From what I can tell, there's like, the final boss is there and it's like spawning a ton of enemies around you. But you need to kind of navigate this small little area to deliver hits on these like cores, we'll call them. And from what I can tell, there's 3 of them. and once you do all 3, you've won. I would imagine. I'm not really too sure. But I basically got to a point where I was about to deliver the final blow and beat the game, and then I died. Ooh. And I'm really, really enjoying the game. I really, really like it, but it's one of those things, one of the kind of somewhat frustrating things, and one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily a huge fan of roguelikes in particular is the randomness of it. And I think it's even something that Eric has talked about, like with board games, for instance. It's like sometimes there's this randomness to it that can be kind of frustrating, because, for Loot Rascals, I feel like this is at least a game where you could get pretty good at and get decently far, but I already feel like I don't think I'm ever going to have a run that was that perfect. And it's kind of disappointing to know, man, for as perfect as that run was, I still lost.
So, but is it like all just kind of luck based, do you think?
I mean, it's, your run depends on what cards you get.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, like, is this like a Tharsis
there
kind
are
of thing,
absolutely times where I am one stage in and I'm getting really bad cards. Like, all the cards I'm getting are like 1 point, with like very little parameters. So I'm like, I'm already like getting into stage 2 and my attack's like 4 and my defense is 7, and it's like, well, this is bad. And so yeah, there are definitely runs. I mean, the thing that I think in the randomness you can maybe argue against, and maybe some people would like that and some people won't, or whatever. It depends on your own taste. But the one thing that I feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily intended, but it certainly sucks when it happens, is when you start up like a new game, or even when you enter like state like a stage 2, 3, or 4, and you're at your base, and basically like right outside the gates of your base are just really strong enemies, where it's like there is no possible way to avoid them. And it especially is like kind of crappy if it's that first stage, because you just start out with 3 attack and 3 defense. And there's been times where I have spawned and like literally right there is like 2 enemies with 8 attack. And it's like, well, great. like I'm already like almost guaranteed going to take at least 1 hit, if not more. Yeah. And so that's a little unfortunate. But on the whole, I do really, really like this game a lot.
Okay.
Hoping to beat it soon. But again, it's, with these kinds of games, I kind of feel like my future is at the will of the cards. It's actually kind of similar to Hands of Fate in some way, where it's like the progress I'm capable of making is all going to be dependent on some dice rolls at some point. And hopefully I get lucky.
In the heart of the cards,
it's in the heart of the cards. Perhaps. It's a really cool game, though. People should check it out if they haven't.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. I guess one other game I can talk about really, really quick is Lego Worlds. So this came out last week. It's $30. I bought it. The first night I played, there was some weird frame rate and performance issues going on. I played about an hour of it, getting through like the tutorial basically, and it was bad enough where I just kind of stopped playing. Since then, there's been at least one patch, maybe a second one, that has kind of addressed that stuff. And since then, I've played about 20 minutes of it, and it seems to run a lot better now. The Lego games I feel like have always been really solid performance-wise, so it kind of caught me off guard. But from when I played post-patch, it seems to be running better. But I'm excited to get more into it, maybe the next week or so. But because the things about it that have me really excited, other than the obvious of like, this is a kind of the sandbox creation kind of game that is right up my alley, it actually seems a bit more Dragon Quest Builders than it does Minecraft. And what I mean by that is like there are missions and quests that you can go on from different NPCs in the worlds that you go to. Okay. Like each world you go to is like a certain environment. So I went to one that was like a prehistoric era. I went to one that was like a more of a jungle. I found one that was kind of like a almost like a desert area. There was a Candyland world that I went to at one point with like gingerbread houses.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so like that stuff is really cool. I just haven't played too much of it yet. I have liked what I've played, and like I've gotten through the tutorial, so I've kind of seen all of the different tools at my disposal. There's a really great like discovery tool that you can just carry around and point at like specific objects that have already been made. So like for instance, if there's like a say there's like a clock tower that you're like, oh, that's actually really cool. You can just point your discovery tool at it, discover it, and then you're set. And then at any point you can just actually like take out your discovery menu and just place it somewhere because you've just remembered it. Okay. So it's really cool. But anyways, cool. I haven't played too much of it, so maybe later we'll talk about talk about it more.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Other than that, we've got what? I finished Ys Origin. I'll have a review of that at some point. There's 2 other characters, so I want to give them some time too, just to see how different they are, because I've heard the story for them is actually a little bit different. So review forthcoming once I'm able to get through that stuff. Hopefully it won't take as long as the first playthrough. And then from then you played Tearaway, Unfolded, and Not a Hero.
Yeah, I didn't play too much of each of them. Should have a video going up this week as you're hearing this for Not a Hero. This is just kind of a February PS Plus leftover, I guess, as it were. So I played this at PAX Prime, like 2014. I played on PC. It was like okay. I didn't really like see much of it, or like care for it. But man, I did this gameplay glimpse for Not a Hero, and man, I am having fun with this game. I'm just blowing people out windows. I guess I thought this game was like super hard, and I guess maybe I'm only like 6-7.
Oh, it'll get hard probably.
Yet. That's what I thought. I think there's 21 levels. I haven't found the game to be super hard yet, but I'm sure it will get there. The Bunny Lord Mayor is really funny. Just the writing is really funny. I would definitely recommend picking that up. I would even say
if you added it, if you added it to your library for last month or not.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that game. I definitely want to play more of it. Played like maybe an hour of Tearaway Unfolded.
The game is phenomenal.
So I had my PlayStation camera plugged in, and I forgot I had it plugged in, doing VR stuff. And then, of course, it just turned on, and like this ripple in the world started happening. Like, oh, look, it's your world. And it just like showed my
Your face is the sun.
Yes. Oh, is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it's supposed to like have your face be the sun.
Oh, well, I was sitting like 90 degrees away from my camera.
Okay.
I have like two different monitors. Yeah. And I have like a TV and a monitor. I was playing on the monitor, and the camera was on the TV, so it was like pointing.
So you never played Tearaway.
I was like waving up in the air. I had played the Vita demo.
Okay. I love Tearaway.
So that's a game I wanted to play on Vita.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hear more of your thoughts when you finish it, because that game.
I think that opening was really cool.
The last hour or so is very, very cool. So I don't want to spoil it. Of course.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
it's a really cool game.
But yeah, really enjoying it. I guess like you just watch trailers of it and you're like, it looks all right or whatever. But man, you actually get this game like on a screen and you're actually looking at it, like playing it. It looks gorgeous. Yeah. It looks very good. I was really kind of maybe not blown away, but I was really impressed.
Yeah.
By the looks of Tearaway Unfolded. So that's probably one I want to get back to. Do you know how long that game is?
It's not super long. Maybe 10-ish hours.
Okay.
Even the platinum itself, like. If you want to do a platinum for it, it's not that hard. Mm-hmm. For the collectibles, it might be better to like have a guide open just so you're not missing anything.
Yeah, true.
But I think when I platinumed, I didn't platinum the PS4 version because I was just kind of like rushing through games at that point when I was playing it. Mm-hmm. But the Vita version, I platinumed within like 2 days maybe. It was not that hard. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's and it's just a super fun game. It's a really, really fun game, and it's worth seeing everything there is to see it. Seeing it.
Is there that much difference between the Vita version?
The PS4 version has a couple sequences that are different, that are new, that were not in the Vita version.
Okay.
There's some sequences that were not there before. Yeah.
Okay. But like for the looseness of a story, like it's pretty much the same, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, and the story, I think the story becomes a bit more prevalent later on as well. That game's got a really cool like little message. We'll say so. Also, very, very quickly before we end, I downloaded a few games that had pro support over the week, just to kind of give a quick little look at them. Since I now have this 4K TV, I wanted to like see, okay, what do these games look like? games that I had finished before, so I wasn't gonna play them again. I just wanted to see. Downloaded Resogun. Man, that game, the game looks really good.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it looks like Resogun. You know, it's like, yep, this looks ridiculous. I downloaded Thumper. Thumper looks so good. Still looks really good. The Witness is pretty nuts. Because The Witness got like HDR support and everything. That game, boy, man, that game is a pretty game. It's a good looking game. Those were the 3, I think. There might have been another.
Super Motherload.
Yeah, Super Motherload and Knack, of course. 4K.
Knack, obviously.
Yeah, I done like 3 or 4 different things, and they all were like, "Yeah, man, this looks really nice." So, at some point, I'll start taking advantage of it and playing like Horizon again instead of a lot of 2D games right now. a lot of indie, a lot of like pixel art, 2D sprites. Actually, I will say this: even though Lego Worlds is like, you know, performance-wise doing better, maybe it was just the certain like the kind of the deserty like location that I was in. That game, I feel like a lot of Lego games like look pretty good.
Yeah.
That game does not look great.
Ooh,
it is not a pretty game like The Witness, we'll say. But anyways, that's gonna do it for us this week. Collin, thank you for joining me as always.
You're welcome.
And
for those wanting a trophy update, check back
hopefully next week when we're not as flooded with news in video games.
Yes.
Which, haha, jokes. As if that's ever gonna not happen.
You know, you would hope maybe next week won't be so crazy in news because this week was kind of big, but
nope.
You never know.
If you need us, we'll be on the Sonic Mania hype train. Until then, we're out.